What is going on, Pats Nation? You guys already know who it is. Patriots Global back here with another video. And in this one, we're going to be touching upon the absolute major news for this franchise that came way sooner than I expected. And that is that they've finally named their new head coach for this franchise. That's Jerod Mayo. Jerod Mayo is just the 15th head coach ever under this franchise, under this organization, which is absolutely wild. I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. I didn't expect to be making this video today. I thought that I was going to have a little bit more of a laid back day. I plan on dropping a video later tonight about 3 coaches that I thought realistically the Patriots could potentially look at to be their next head coach. Jerod Mayo was one of them. But early today, we get the announcement, less than 24 hours actually, since Belichick and the Patriots parted ways and stepped away from each other, they already named the next head coach. They're not going on head coach interviews. And we're going to break all of that down. We're going to break down what Jerod Mayo brings. We're going to break down why is he the guy. And we're going to break down why they didn't look towards any other avenue. Why didn't they go the route that every other team does when they're moving on from their head coach, conducting head coaching interviews, looking outside of the organization? We're going to break all of that down in this video. On your way in, guys, make sure you're subscribed to the channel for all of your New England Patriots news. It's officially the offseason. This is where my favorite content comes out. We're talking about free agency, positional groups that they could upgrade on, rumors, the drafts, mock drafts, everything. You guys are not going to want to miss out on it. So make sure you are subscribed and hit that bell notification so that you are notified every single time we post a video. You guys are not going to want to miss videos that are coming out around this time, and you're not going to want to miss when we do go live so that you guys can be part of the discussion. We're also going to be talking about the sponsors of the video over at BetUS, because right now you guys can win 2 Super Bowl tickets for you and somebody else. We're going to talk about that a little bit later on and how you guys can enter that giveaway. So it's here. It's here. The time has finally come, and I just need to take a step back for a second, because what a whirlwind, what an absolute whirlwind that it has been for this organization, for the players, for us as fans. I mean, to move on from Bill Belichick one day, and then less than 24 hours, you get a new head coach. I haven't even fully processed the fact that Bill Belichick, after 24 seasons, is not going to be the head coach of this organization, that I'm not going to see the hoodie on the field, that I'm not going to get, yeah, we're on to Cincinnati. Yeah, we're on to Kansas City. I'm not going to get that every week. Like, we're actually going to get some more in-depth answers from a head coach now. Like, I'm not ready for the change, and it needed to happen, but like, we all have to adapt in a way that I just don't think we were ready for. But let's just try to break this down to the best of our abilities and put our emotions to the side. Now, we all know Jerod Mayo. He has been a major, major piece to this organization, not just over the last few years as a coach, but especially as a player. He was originally drafted by the New England Patriots in the first round of the 2008 draft. He played 8 seasons with the New England Patriots before he ultimately retired. So he played his entire career here in New England, took a few years off, and then over the last 5 years has been their linebackers coach. And it's wild, right? Because this is something you don't usually see from a team. Because usually when your head coach is fired, it's, all right, this is a guy that has avenues and connections. This is a guy that could potentially be a fit. I liked how this guy coached for this team last year or 2 years ago. But I feel like ever since Jerod Mayo came to New England as a linebackers coach, we have been hearing, literally the year he got here, I feel like we've been hearing that he could be the succession plan to Bill Belichick. And that was a storyline that was getting hotter and hotter and hotter every single year. And now it's true. So literally everything that we've been told, everything that we've been hearing, all of the rumblings behind the scenes involving Jerod Mayo, they've clearly all been true. And I think the biggest question, the biggest concern, and the thing that's apparently upsetting Patriots fans right now is that the team didn't do, again, what every other franchise is doing that is needing a head coach right now, and taking the process slower, conducting these interviews, seeing who is going to be the best option. A lot of Patriots fans feel like They had a guy in-house and they took the easy route and just rolled with him. And that's not what they did here. And Ian Rappaport tweeted something that I want to hit on because it kind of backs up that theory a little bit. He said, and I quote, while so much of the focus was on Mike Vrabel, the internal focus for the Patriots was always on Jerod Mayo. It was written into his contract that he would be the successor to Bill Belichick. Now, this makes a whole lot of sense because let's go backwards about a year. In fact, I think it's exactly a year from now at this point. Last offseason for the New England Patriots, Jerod Mayo was going into a second offseason where he was getting defensive coordinator interviews. He was also getting head coaching interviews, one of which was with the Panthers. One day, we all of a sudden hear breaking news from the New England Patriots themselves that Jerod Mayo is staying with the New England Patriots because they signed him to a contract extension, and that Jerod Mayo turned down all of his head coaching interviews that he had lined up with the Panthers and etc. in order to stay in New England. And the funny part is that they didn't promote him. He wasn't like assistant to the head coach. He wasn't defensive coordinator. He stayed as a linebackers coach. So there was clearly something in that contract that they put in that made Jerod Mayo stay this past year. And clearly we now know what that is. They said, stick around, okay? We can't say that you're going to be the assistant head coach. We can't promote you to the defensive coordinator. You're going to be at the same position, but you are going to be the succession plan to Bill Belichick. And let's remember, Bill Belichick's contract was up, so they signed him to an extension this time last year. And it wouldn't surprise me if they had signed him to a 2 to 3 year contract and said, after that, Bill, we're going to let you go. Maybe you retire. And then that's when Jerod Mayo is going to take over. Unfortunately, this season didn't go as planned, a 4-win team. And they have to part ways with Belichick, and now Jerod Mayo's taken over a little bit sooner than they expected, but they already had it in his contract that they were going to roll with him, so they can't disrespect him. They can't lie to him, especially after everything he's done for this franchise and how players view him, so they had to roll. But guys, real quick, we got to take a pause for the cause and give a massive shout out to the sponsors of the channel and this video all season long. Those are my buddies, my best friends over at BetUS. Right now, you guys can get a 125% sign-up bonus up to $2,500. What that means is that it more than doubles the initial deposit that you put in. And because I'm not a very smart guy in terms of math, I'm going to give you an easy number to give you an example of what that 125% sign-up bonus means. Let's say you put down $100. That will turn into $225 for you to play with. Remember, the more money that you put in, ultimately, the more money you're going to get out. BetUS is the best platform for all of your sports betting needs, right? They have NFL futures, college football. They have basketball, baseball, soccer, horse racing, fighting. Basically, if it's a sport that you can bet on, BetUS is going to have it. And I know that we have a lot of fans out there in terms of basketball and especially fighting too. Guys, get in on the opportunity to bet on that with BetUS and get a 125% sign-up bonus when you do it. And if you're saying, well, Patriots Global, I'm so down for that 125% sign-up bonus, but I'm just not interested in dropping my money on a sports book, guess what? BetUS is also a casino, blackjack, poker, baby, you name it, they got it. And you can use that 125% sign-up bonus with them. Best customer service on the absolute platform. I say that with confidence. I've used really every sports betting platform, and BetUS's customer service is hands down, not even close, the absolute best. But not just that, they also have 24-hour payout. So it doesn't matter when you want to cash out that win, because as soon as you win, no matter the day, no matter the time, no matter the hour, you are going to be able to get cashed out and get cashed out quick. Now, BetUS is also giving away 2 Super Bowl tickets right now, my friends, and you can enter to get those, because I would love nothing more than to see my fan base, my audience, get those 2 Super Bowl tickets. So go ahead and look on how you guys can potentially win that.
BetUS, America's favorite sports book, where you can bet on everything, anytime. Sportsbook, casino, horse racing, live betting, and more. We have the best bonuses in the industry. That's right, get a 125% sign-up bonus. And to celebrate our 30-year anniversary, we are giving up to 30 risk-free bets, a truck, Super Bowl tickets, and more. Don't miss out. Play smart. Join now. BetUS, where the game begins.
So, guys, kind of to piggyback what I was saying just before we broke into that ad break. So Diana Ruzzini from ESPN had this to say upon the Patriots not looking outside of Jerod Mayo for head coaching opportunities. She said, and I quote, "The New England Patriots never reached out to a single person, including names like Jim Harbaugh, Mike Vrabel, or even Ben Johnson." Okay. And look, at one point, month or two ago, I was throwing out names like I would love to see them get Eric Bieniemy. I would love to see them get Ben Johnson. But it became very clear over the last couple of weeks, more specifically over the last week and the last couple of days, that they were going to go in-house. Whether you like it or not, that's how this team rolls. That's how Robert Kraft rolls. He promotes from within. And if he's going to have somebody take over his team, his franchise that he views so highly, it has to be someone he's familiar with and someone he trusts. He's not going to give the keys over to this franchise to somebody who he doesn't know. So to me, it really came down to Mike Vrabel, Jerod Mayo, or Brian Flores, because it's also very clear that they wanted a defensive-minded coach to take over for Bill Belichick. Right now, this defense is what's been winning the Patriots games over the last couple of seasons, this dominant defense. And so Robert Kraft doesn't want to step away from the part of the team that is so dominant. He just acknowledges that personnel and coaching needs to be better also. That's why you have somebody in here who is not Bill Belichick. And it makes a lot of sense for Jerod Mayo because, like I said, played under Bill Belichick, played a few years here, played 8 years here as a linebacker for this team. So he knows those old Patriots tendencies, from the early to mid 2000s, but also knows the position that this team has been in. He's coached this team when they've won Super Bowls. He coached this team when Tom Brady was here. He coached this team when this team had Mac Jones, and coached this team this past year when they only were a 4-win team. So he understands how to coach this team. He understands the schemes, the tendencies, what works, what doesn't work. He understands the Patriots way, but he also understands the things that need to be fixed and the things that are still working under this. Look, I'll go out and say it myself. It is a bit of a risky move for the Patriots to not conduct other head coaching interviews, but you can see why they would like Jerod Mayo. It's very clear. And it seems like in-house, not just with Robert Kraft, the other coaches, but even with the players, this is a move that they are responding well to. You have players posting about Jerod Mayo now being the new head coach for the Patriots, a lot of which are free agents. They're not even signed under contract for the team. In fact, to even back that up, Mark Daniels tweeted out after Jerod Mayo officially became the head coach of the team. He said, and I quote, "I talked to one upcoming Patriots free agent who told me returning to the Patriots just became his priority because of the hiring of Jerod Mayo." Now, I would assume that this is probably Mack Wilson. I obviously don't know, but I would assume it is. Obviously, Mayo, Wilson, they worked directly together, very close together, but also because Mack Wilson actually posted a picture of him and Jerod Mayo on Instagram today with a picture of a rocket. So that would make a lot of sense. But also, we did have Trent Brown post a picture of Jerod Mayo on his Instagram story. So it could be a multitude of different guys, but I would assume that that guy would be Mack Wilson, who is also in a contract. There's also a bit of a funny stat that I wanted to throw out here for you guys, and that's the fact that, believe it or not, Jerod Mayo is now the youngest head coach in the entire National Football League. He doesn't look like it, but he is. Jerod Mayo is currently 37 years old. You have Sean McVay, who is also 37 years old, but Mayo is like 40 or 30 days older. You have Kevin O'Connell with the Minnesota Vikings. He's 38. You have Shane Steichen with the Colts, who is 38. And then you have D'Amico Ryans, who is 39. So even if you look at all the names I just listed, the head coach for the Rams, the head coach for the Vikings, the head coach for the Colts, and the head coach for the Texans, If Jerod Mayo can kind of keep up those tendencies, then the Patriots have a head coach that might actually be able to put them back into contention. Because say what you want, Sean McVay, obviously a very good head coach. Kevin O'Connell, despite this season being rocky, the Vikings did have a lot of injuries. He's been a very good coach, kept them into contention, into the playoffs. Shane Steichen, the same thing, first year, obviously, but had a lot of injuries with the Colts. They came down to week 18, and if they won, they would have been in the playoffs, but still a good head coach. And then obviously DeMeco Ryans and what he's done with the Texans. So cross your fingers, but New England might actually have a head coach that gets them back into contention sooner than. And the last thing that I will say about this is that it does benefit the Patriots to have rolled with Jerod Mayo over rolling with other head coaches, because there's a rule set in place essentially where teams have to wait. I believe it is till after the season has concluded. So the playoffs have to be done. The Super Bowl has to be done. So we're looking at like the second week in February, essentially, that teams can start conducting these head coaching interviews because of a rule that has been put in. Now, because Jerod Mayo is on this roster, because he's not like a coaching free agent, for lack of better words, they were able to talk to him, hear his succession plan, and promote him without going against this NFL rule. So because of that, the Patriots already have their head coach lined up. They just are going to need to figure out who their general manager is. And because of this, they are going to be one step ahead of every other team. I said this before, and I'll say it again. This is exactly what Kraft needed to do. He needed to end the season, and within like a week, 2 weeks max, needed to figure out if Belichick was staying or leaving, and then figuring out what they were going to do in a succession plan to Bill Belichick. Your free agents need to know who they're playing under. Your team needs to know who they're playing under. Your coaching staff needs to know who they're playing under and if they're going to have a job or not. So at the end of the day, I understand why they're hiring Jerod Mayo. It makes nothing but sense. There is a lot of love, a lot of praise for him within the Patriots locker room itself. I know that there was that one report about how he's rubbing people the wrong way. And from what I understand, that's supposedly more from like a coaching perspective than it was a report by players. So it would not surprise me if that report actually came from Bill O'Brien, because apparently Bill O'Brien, Jerod Mayo, I don't want to say there's a feud, but they are kind of banging heads a little bit. So that also brings up the question, will Bill O'Brien be back with the New England Patriots as their offensive coordinator next year? But until then, until we figure out more details, we at least know the biggest part of this piece, and that is that Jerod Mayo is the next head coach here for the New England Patriots. What are your guys' thoughts on this? Let me know in the comment section below. Remember to leave a big like on the video, and of course, subscribe to the channel for all of your New England Patriots news. I appreciate you guys for watching as always, and never forget, go Pats.